Hello and welcome to Cinemondo, and I have a guest.
Yes, I am Melanie from Pardesi, and I was thrilled when Kathy reached out to me about doing a collab. As you know, if any of my followers are watching, you know that I normally do solo stuff, but I love having a conversation. So this is awesome.
I know. I thought that would be great because you have a lot more experience with Indian films than I do. You've seen a lot more of them. You know more of the history. I'm kind of starting out. I've only been doing this for about 6 months. Getting heavy into the Indian films, and it was like opening a treasure. Like all of a sudden, there's all these amazing movies, but
yeah,
there's
that's a great way to put. That's a great way to put it. It's like, I mean, it's almost like Wizard of Oz. Now the world is color, and like, oh my gosh, look at all of this.
It's so true. It's so true because, I'm a huge movie fan. I've seen a lot of films, but never Indian films. And I will not say Slumdog Millionaire because when I ask people if they say Indian films, they always say it. I'm like, that is a British film.
Yeah, so that is a British film, although the film composer, A.R. Rahman, is known as the Mozart of Madras, and he is quite famous for his collaborations with some of the biggest directors in Indian cinema as well. So, it's a note of pride that he won an Oscar for Slumdog Millionaire, but he's known more for his Indian film work, and I've been lucky enough to see him in concert in Chicago, which was amazing.
So lucky.
And as I was picture this. Wow. I'm standing outside. My next door neighbors are South Asian, and I was waiting for them to park. And somebody came up to me, and the Indian guy came up to me. He says, this is Indian music. I'm like, yeah, we got it.
I know.
Anyway.
So lots to learn. Like I have to go back in the back catalog, but I'm also trying to keep up with the current stuff.
Right.
So, that's why I think you've been really inspirational to me because you have a lot of like older stuff in there too that I'm now discovering through your channel. So I definitely wanted to talk to you about how you got into Indian films, how you discovered them and your favorites. And then we can talk about the first ones we've seen and our reactions. So hit it.
So I'm a big film lover. Like the Oscars are my equivalent to the World Cup or the Super Bowl. Like I have, thrown a big Oscar party every year. So I'm fascinated with the whole movie making thing. And that's one thing that appeals to me about your channel is you guys are coming from the industry and bringing your perspective. I love your comments about posters and everything. So anyway, so I've always loved movies and I love musicals and I love romantic films. So let's think about what's happened to romantic films and musicals have become extremely rare. The romantic comedies of, like Julia Roberts and whatever in the 80s, those were considered mid-budget films and they're very rarely made right now. Now it's like we have the huge blockbuster Marvel blockbusters. And then we have small independent films that play at film festivals that, are played in this fall season ahead of the Oscars. But there's really not so much of that mid-budget romantic films. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is musicals are even more rare. You can count on one hand in the last 5 years how many musicals have been made in Hollywood, in Western media. If Hugh Jackman, okay, thank you for giving us, or La La Land, but it's extremely rare. Well, what's great about Indian films? I live in a town in Chicago, a suburb where we have almost a 20% in the South Asian population. And so every week I can see a movie musical. I can see a romantic film every week. Okay.
Wow.
And I'm lucky that I'm in a town where I can see not only Hindi films, which I know are easier to find in the LA area, but I can see in a theater 5 minutes from my house, I can see Malayalam films, Kannada films, Tamil films, Telugu films. So it's, I'm really fortunate, but it's just a whole new world. And it came through Netflix about 8 years ago. Because I like romantic films, because I like musicals, it recommended DDLJ to me, which is Diwali Dulhania Le Jayenge. Now, that wasn't the first Indian film I'd seen. I'd seen Lagan, which means land tax. It's an Amir Khan film. You just saw him in Three Idiots.
Right.
That was nominated for the Foreign language film for the Oscars. It's one of the few Indian films that to be nominated. Anyway, so because it was an Oscar film, I had seen that years ago. All right, and I loved it. But then you have to imagine back in the 90s, it wasn't as easy to follow up and find things on the internet. The internet just wasn't the same. There wasn't Netflix recommending things to you like now. So 8 years ago, DDLJ, I'm like, who is this Shahrukh Khan? What? And then at that moment, Netflix also had his film Rabni Bani de Jodi, which means match in heaven, pair in heaven. And I watched that. He was doing a double role, and I literally remember looking up in IMDb is like, is this two different actors? Like he was acting so differently.
Right?
Like, pause it in the middle to be like, wait a minute, what?
That's really funny.
And I have a neighbor, like I said, I'm texting her. I'm like, she recommended a Hrithik Roshan movie, and I have a Facebook memory that comes up that I have a picture of Hrithik Roshan, and I said, I thought Nish was my friend. She just told me about Hrithik today.
It's so cute. Oh my God.
So I have a memory of just when that time was that I first got into it. And so I had some people around me who could recommend, well, if you like that, here's some other things to watch, right? And then but I had no thoughts about having a YouTube channel at first. I followed a YouTube channel back then called Bolly Fools. It was two guys in England, and they did trailer reactions and movie reviews. And I had seen the first Bahubali film with my neighbor who said, "Hey, I heard this one's pretty good." It was I'm like, 20.
It's pretty good.
She's like, 20. I'm like, $20. That's pretty good. I'm like, okay.
Oh no.
Blown away.
Blown away.
Right?
Oh my God, so good.
And then it was okay. You can't even imagine. It was years to wait for part 2. Okay, like we have the cliffhanger, and then like, what?
Oh my God. Okay. I got to see him back to back. Because I came late.
Right. So I saw them tweet about, first day, first show, which I love that's a thing in Indian films. First day, first show.
I love that too. That's really fun.
And so I had booked, my local theater had it on IMAX. So
oh my God.
See it an afternoon matinee, and the guy that was behind the scenes for Bolly Fools actually lived in Chicago, and he says, "Oh, I'm going to the second show at that theater." He's like, "Can I interview you after you come out?" Between the show times. So he stuck his phone up, and he's like, give a spoiler free your impression. And like, he didn't have to prompt me. I'm just like, boom, boom, boom. And he's like, after he shut up to his camera, he's like, have you ever thought about being on YouTube? I'm like, oh, that's so cute.
You were discovered. It's just like in Hollywood.
So I was on their channel for a while, and then, but that got frustrating trying to coordinate and wait for them to post stuff in England and whatever. So I went solo. So it's been 5 years, 40K wonderful subscribers. So it's been an interesting journey, but at first I'd seen mostly Hindi films.
Right.
And Shahrukh Khan, as I said, was my first love. I know you guys just did a reaction to his upcoming film, Patan. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, I'm so excited. Now that I know who he is, it's like, I can't wait.
So he is the gateway drug for a lot of Western viewers. He is so popular in Germany, you would not even believe.
Wow.
Like, so
I believe it.
It's just kind of crazy, his popularity around the world. But there's 3 Khans that are the big stars of his time: Salman Khan, Amir Khan, and so you it's like saying if you're Star Wars or Star Trek. It's like which Khan, which Khan.
That's interesting. I should do a T-shirt about that.
And so I am a Shahrukh Khan, but I enjoy Amir and Salman too. But it's just I'm just saying he's my first love. So there you go.
He's everyone's first love, apparently.
Right.
He has so many fans.
So I guess if you count Brahmastra, which he had a little extended cameo, I have seen 59 of his films. Wow. So you kind of start with going with an actor like, oh, I like Hrithik. What else has he done? Right.
Exactly.
And then I discovered certain directors that I liked. Well, there's a Shahrukh Khan film called Dil Se, which means from the heart. Now you have to at least probably do a reaction of, there's a famous song from it called Chaya Chaya, where he dances on the top of a moving train.
Oh my God.
Okay. And the song so captivated. Spike Lee does a graduate program at NYU for film students. And one of his students handed him the DVD and said, "You need to watch this movie." He was so captivated with the song that song is the opening credits for Inside Man.
Did not know that. That's
So
incredible.
it is a little bit different, whatever
Wow.
version, but it's the same music.
Mm.
And it's an incredible song sequence just alone. Again, A.R. Rahman music. And but that director, Mani Ratnam, normally works in the Tamil film industry.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, I saw A.R. Rahman in concert, and he played the song to an upcoming movie, and the song was Mental Manado. And I was so captivated by the song. The movie wasn't even out yet. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta see this movie for this music.
That's so funny.
So the movie is called Okay Kanmani, which means apple of my eye or oh my darling. It is on Netflix right now.
Good.
You must watch. Okay. It is the sweetest romantic film, and it stars a guy named Dulquer Salman. My God.
Cutie?
Beyond. Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
At the time, I did not know that he is a star kid. He is the son of Mammootty, who is one of the two biggest stars of Malayalam cinema. The two biggest stars of Malayalam cinema are Mohanlal and Mammootty. They're older gentlemen now in their 60s and 70s. But anyway, but Dulquer is an actor who's crossed over. You did a reaction to his recent film, Chup, which was a Hindi kind of a mystery film. So there he's playing against type. He's using that soft romantic image that he has to subvert your expectations.
Love that. I love when they do that.
Right. So he has crossed over to different industries. But anyway, I'm like, who is this guy?
They keep more and more. They find new ones to love.
Right. So picture me like 5 years ago. I didn't even know where to look. I ordered DVDs from India of like all of his other films were in the Malayalam cinema. So I started to try that. Bangalore Days was one of the first films that I saw. I believe it's on Amazon. No, it's on Hulu right now. So highly recommended. Some of the top young stars in Malayalam cinema are in Bangalore Days, and it's a woman director as well. So highly recommend that. So that started my journey on Malayalam films, which to me have a very independent cinema kind of a feel.
They do.
It's a very different feel. And I learned about the state of Kerala in South India that it's about 1/3 Christian, 1/3 Muslim, 1/3 Hindu. So it's very, very, very different than any of the other regions.
Wow.
And just so, you could have a Christian wedding in a film. You can have, it's just like a whole mix of different themes, Muslim characters. It's just fascinating. So anyway, so that's how it started my journey on Malayalam cinema, and I've now seen over 100 films of Malayalam films. I love them. So each film has kind of a different flavor. And the Telugu started with Bahubali, seeing that, and I just Rajamouli is his imagination. I saw you guys watched Iga. Like, can you believe? Can you believe? Like, it's crazy.
It's insane. And the camera work, my God, I mean, it's so fluid and so far advanced. Like, what was happening? And I love that when people take chances like that. It was crazy.
And I think I've seen about a dozen of his films, and just crazy. So then there's a news site called APB Deshram, Telugu news site, and they asked me if I would review classic Telugu films with them. So with their producer Harsha. So you've seen RRR. So NTR, Junior NTR, who plays Beam.
Yep.
He is the grandson of one of the most famous actors in Telugu cinema. His name is NTR. So that's why he calls himself NTR Junior.
Oh, NTR Junior. Okay,
right.
Yes, of course.
Right. So there's all these film dynasties, especially in the Telugu industry.
Really
there are all these dynasties of families. You know, like in Bahubali, Rana Dugabati, the villain, the main villain.
Yeah.
So his father is a major film producer. They own a production studio and so forth. So you
Wow.
know, I mean, it's just like all of these interconnectedness.
Wow.
Anyway, so that has been fascinating watching some of these. I'm talking. I've seen movies back into the early 50s. It's difficult to find them in subtitles, but it's been wonderful seeing some of the classic things. So where
Yeah.
I thought Bahubali was so original and so different than anything. You know what? It's calling back to the
Right.
classic adventure stories and the classic
Yep.
films that's what Rajamouli was watching when he was growing up. And so now I have seen some of the things that inspired the
Ah,
Bahubali films, which has been
I
really
love that.
interesting and fun. So it's, you know, it's a journey of discovery. And like you said, having your viewers recommend something, I feel
Mhm.
one of the reasons why I still have my channel is it's this conversation that I have with my viewers.
Yeah.
I can ask them questions. I could say, I didn't understand this part. You
Right.
know,
And
or
they don't give you any grief really about it if you
no,
don't understand and you wanna know. That's what I love is
right,
they love to educate you, and that's
right.
what I really appreciate from
You
Indian
know,
audiences.
or I'll say, "Wow, this director was amazing. What else have they done?" Like I
Mm.
saw the recent Kantara, Kannada film, which has been
Oh god, I'm
crazy.
dying to see that. Ugh,
Oh my god! You were
cannot
like the
wait to
last.
see that.
I'm not gonna spoil anything. The last 15 minutes, my literally my jaw was on the floor. Unfortunately, you're probably not gonna be able to see it in the theater, but it was amazing because a lot of it is set in a forest and it's kind of spooky
It
sounds and
looks
just this
so gorgeous.
atmosphere to it. But I was so amazed by that film,
Definitely wanna see
and
that.
so you know I was able to say, well, what else should I see by this guy? You
Mhm.
know, I mean, it was a writer director who also starred in the film. What else should I see by him?
Yeah,
And you know, immediately I get all these answers, or you know, I could whatever it is. You know, oh,
yeah,
I like this actor. Oh, I like that supporting actress.
yeah.
You know, what else has she done? You know?
And then they'll give you background on the, "Oh, they're the daughter of, and she did this, and she went over here, and then
Right,
she was over," it's like,
right,
I love the whole history, the
right, right.
context of it.
Right.
That's great.
So it's, you know, it's interesting contrasting with Hollywood. It's not that we don't have film families in Hollywood,
Mhm.
right? I mean, you think about like
Sure.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Drew Barrymore, you know, she had a very famous, you know, family, whatever.
Yes.
But it's not the same.
Skarsgård brothers, there's like 4 of them. F
Right. But
Skarsgård. They're not technically Hollywood, they're from, but still,
right.
like
Right.
4 with a
Right.
dad who's now
With a
in,
dad. Right.
in,
Stellan Skarsgård.
Andor right now.
Right. Exactly. Right. Exactly. You know, so it's not that we don't have filming families, but it's just not the same. It's not to the same level.
Right.
And also I just seeing more and more films, there's so much referring back and forth to older films
Mhm.
within films. And so
Yeah.
I will be in a theater and I will hear like a radio will start playing a song and then people around me in within the film and then people around me start laughing, right? And
Oh,
so there's certain things that just go over my head.
right.
But as I mentioned, I would go to the movies with my you know, my neighbor who is from South India. She's not seen as
Oh,
many
no.
Indian films as I have at this
That's
point.
funny.
And so, like for instance, Shahrukh Khan plays a coach of a women's field hockey team in this really excellent film called Chalk to India. Well, then he did a movie with Deepika Padukone called Happy New Year. It's not the greatest film in the world, but I was on the floor laughing because the Deepika's character, before they go to a dance competition, starts giving the famous speech, a parody of the famous speech that the coach Shahrukh Khan did. You know, she's giving
That
it
is
to
funny.
Shahrukh Khan in the movie. Okay, I'm on the floor dying, and my neighbors looking at me like, "I'm like, it's so funny."
It's like, "Why is it funny?" It's like, "You don't understand."
Right, right. So there's so much referring back and forth, and I'm not going to get all of it, but I feel so amazing when I do get it. I'm like,
I know.
I'm in on the joke. I'm in on the joke.
You've seen so many, you should be getting in on the joke.
But also, it's the skill of the person doing the subtitles. Now, I think you would
This is
agree
true.
that subtitles can be radically uneven. Telugu subtitles can often just be a literal translation, and then you're like, I know there's a joke in there somewhere, but I have no idea what they're trying to say.
I like when they clean up the language when they use this profanity in English, and then they kind of go, "You're stupid," and what they said was way worse. You're like, okay,
right. So my favorite subtitlist is a woman named Rakes.
I saw you. You interviewed her, right?
I interviewed her. We've become friends, and
Nice.
I consider to be like the gold standard. Her mother taught her English as a young child, made her play Scrabble in English, English
funny.
letters and whatever. So she has an understanding of English idioms. And so she can take a joke that's in Tamil and find the right idiom in English to make it funny for an English speaker.
Yeah, that's
and she prides herself on rhyming in English all the songs. Okay,
what?
Which is her yes. That is her trademark.
Okay. I've wondered sometimes when you see how did they do that? It seems like it'd be impossible.
She has a skill. Wow. She has a skill. But to me, what I most appreciate, like I said, is translating the humor. Because I'm not going to get everything. If it's a political joke, it could go over my.
I don't even get humor half the time in English films, so
But especially comedy can be difficult in Indian cinema because it's of a context, it's sort of like if someone has never seen the Godfather film and somebody says, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse or whatever, right? Like, that is just like a cultural thing. Everyone in America pretty much understands a Godfather reference, right? And so it's like that where I'm like, I'm out of it because I don't know what old movie or whatever, line or whatever that they're quoting. So Rakes will even go to the point. There was a recent film starring Vijay called Master, where he plays a teacher, and he's giving a lesson to these kids. And he's quoting songs as part of the lesson. And so she in the subtitles said, from this, lyric from the movie or whatever, and so it clued me in. He's not just giving this great speech that these kids are know that he's just saying lines from songs.
That's funny. That's really nice to give context. That's right. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Right. Well, that's why I'm saying she is someone apart from everyone else because definitely it's so uneven. She rails against the fact that when a film appears on Netflix or Amazon, they totally screw up the formatting of whatever she has carefully done for the subtitles in the theater. And then she's like, what did they do? Like, it must be some agreement that Netflix is like, must use their own subtitlist or whatever. And so then they have to make little changes to make it their own intellectual property. Or I don't know what it is, but I mean, she's definitely, she's like trying to, evangelize why it's so important. Why should Telugu films have good subtitles? Because do you want something to play at a film festival? Do you want it to play to a wider audience? You need to have that subtitles to reach, and maybe the unexpected success of RRR. And here most people are watching it with a Hindi dub.
Yeah.
I hate watching things with dub.
Sometimes it's all you get. Like I've had, I feel like sometimes I either get a choice of watching the original language, no subtitles, or watch it not only dubbed but also subtitled. And I'm just like, well, I guess I have to watch this way. Yeah. I love hearing real languages, so I don't even want English subtitles. I mean English dub. I want to hear the language, so I hate when I get the wrong language.
Right.
And honestly, I'm just now starting to notice the differences and the cadence and how they speak.
I will say for RRR, I think the at least the main actors all did the dubbing themselves, so it's their voice, but still like I subscribed, there's so many different Indian streaming services.
Yes. Which one do you recommend? This is unpaid.
Okay, well, I'm just going to tell you, like I subscribed to Z5 just so that I could watch RRR with the Telugu, and so I could show it to my children and my son's girlfriend. I'm like, sit down, you have to watch it in the original Telugu. We're not messing around. How do your
kids? I don't want to derail where you're headed. No, how do your kids feel about when they see these films? Do they love them, or are they like, you're crazy?
It's mostly you're crazy. I will say. So I have a son who's in college. And, in America, there's an icebreaker game where you say two things that are true and one thing that is false. And so, or you have to say like the most unusual fact about yourself. And so my son always says, my mom has a YouTube channel reviewing Indian films.
That sounds so obscure. Like, no way that's true. funny.
So
That's
he
so
is
good.
very proud. And I know,
Oh.
he has, if you meet somebody, he will tell them about it. But my family is not interested in watching the Indian films. I sat my family down, like there was Mother's Day. I said, all I want is for you to go see Bahubali with me in the theater.
Aw.
So I have this picture. So imagine us, 5 of us sitting in this theater, and Indian families are walking in and they're doing a double take, like, wait, we're in the wrong theater. Wait,
They
what?
do. I've seen that happen when we've been in the theater and everybody's like, what? Why
Yeah.
are they in here?
So I have made them sit down and watch that.
And it's long.
Yeah.
These are long films.
Okay. How long are Marvel movies? Come on, everybody.
I don't
take a
even
chill
like
pill.
Marvel movies. They're way too long.
Okay. Well, the nice
I don't
thing
mind
is,
that they're long, but it's a long time to be in a theater.
it is. The nice thing is my local theater has now started doing an 10-minute intermission at the interval
We
point.
don't get those here.
I know. Well, and that's I'm choosing where I'm watching based on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There used to be I would drive 45 minutes to see certain Malayalam films. There was only one theater at that time that was playing them, and it was all 6 screens, all Indian films, and they always did the interval. So and they had samosas and whatever snacks.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, so
that's
it wasn't
nice.
exactly the same, but I have to tell you, like, going first day, first show for a Rajnikanth film, he's a huge star in Tamil cinema. Like, it's there's nothing like it.
That would be great.
Why don't we cheer when some of our big stars come out in a Hollywood film for their first appearance, right?
Right. Yeah, that's
and
true.
Do the whistles and whatever.
I think one of the funniest entry scenes that I think is so meta and knowing is in KGF 2. First time you see Joshua, not only is he walking in slow motion with like sparkles and we have a big Rocky Star Yash. Like, they give his real name. It's like he's here. It's just like I loved that. That was a funniest.
That's
oh my God.
That all of them have their own nicknames like that. So it's not VJ, it's Talapati VJ or whatever. They all and they're fans or whatever. Yes, and they, like you said, they put it in there waiting for the crowd to die down from the whistles and the screams.
Exactly. It's a big thing. It's slow motions. It gives people a moment.
I also love when they tease, like we're seeing the back of their head, and then
getting out of the car.
Yeah. We get the little tease, and get the lead up.
I think the biggest lead up was, Vikram, where they're waiting. You're just waiting for Surya to come on. You're like, where is he? It's the very last scene.
Yeah, I know.
But boy, that was one of the best entry and exit scenes I've ever seen.
So I want to tell you, I'm going to recommend some fun movies for you that I think you will really enjoy. Okay.
And I'm going to label these. I'm going to do a series of Melanie requests. And these are movies that Melanie told us to do.
So one that you may not have heard of is called Gajini. So you just mentioned Surya. He did the original Tamil version, but I've only seen so far the Hindi version. I know any of my fans watching. I know.
Oh God.
Okay.
I just
so what it is. Okay. So Amir Khan stars in the Hindi version of Gajini.
Okay.
It is a remake of Memento. But instead of just a brief flashback scene of the wife that is killed, we have an hour-long rom-com.
Of course we do.
Okay? We have an hour-long rom-com. And then when we see her die, we are crying.
It matters.
That's okay. So I'm not dissing anything about Memento. Obviously, that is a wonderful film. But the feels that you get from Indian films are just not the same. Okay.
They do. You're right. And I think that's why I'm very forgiving on length, because I feel like you get so involved with the characters and they have these strange tonal shifts like you're talking about. Like you're in the thriller. They even had a little bit of that in Vikram again.
Yeah.
Or Vikram Vidha. Now I'm getting all like Vikrams. But they have these big long, all of a sudden you're in it. Oh, you're in a fun, like you said, rom-com, and they're moving into their house and they're throwing things at each other. It's all so cute. And all of a sudden you go back to where she gets beheaded. That's awesome.
Right. So like Gajini, it has, the violence and all of that and the memory loss and all of that. But we are totally invested. Okay. Right. Because we have seen.
We care.
We care about that girl that died.
I love that. I love that.
And so that, I mean, that's just one example.
Okay.
And I mean, there's other, unofficial remakes.
So
But
which remake am I watching? Which one?
Gajini is the one, and it's starring Amir Khan.
Okay.
And then
You can email me this list after, but yeah,
I
I'm
absolutely
definitely
will.
making this a series. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, you've watched some Kannada films. I have only watched about a dozen Kannada films, so I don't really have as many recommendations on that. But the other four main industries are Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, and Malayalam. So I thought, since you work in the industry, you
Yeah.
would kind of like movies that are about making movies.
Always.
Okay. So there's a film starring Shahrukh Khan called Om Shanti Om.
Okay.
It is playing on, I'm checking my list, it's playing on Netflix right now.
Okay.
And it is Deepika Padukone's debut film. So
Okay.
they are rematching in the upcoming Patan that's coming out in a couple months. So that one might be fun to watch. But it is again, double role for Shahrukh Khan.
That's so funny.
Woman director, Farah Khan is the director.
Cool.
And so there's a thing in Indian movies, you've probably seen it, it's called an item number. It can be an actress that has nothing to do with the regular plot of the film. Suddenly we're in a bar and it's a sexy dance number. Right?
I love it.
It's a guest star. So it's an item number. Well, Farah Khan, God bless her, this woman director, made Shahrukh Khan do an item number. And it's called Darty Disco. The pain of disco. The pain of disco.
My God. Okay, now I'm definitely watching this. This
his shirt blows open. I saw you laughing in the. His shirt blows open. Water is splashed on him. She does all of it. Okay.
Love it. That's what I love. That's what's interesting too. I just throw this out here. Is the how should I say it? Like in America, women are completely sexualized, and it's all about how they look and the wind blowing and all that.
Right.
In Indian films, it's the opposite. We get these incredibly objectified men. I'm not complaining at all. We get the men with their shirts off and they're all super ripped. And I mean, I'm talking about War. I'm talking to you, War.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like completely like, wow, did you see us? And that was to me a complete love story between two men. That was definitely them.
Oh, yeah.
So you're seeing that yearning. You're seeing this beauty.
Tiger Shroff when
his eyes
off the helicopter. And it's just a classic.
I love it so much. And I was making the same expression seeing him walk off the helicopter. I was like, what the hell? Like all of us were like, what? so anyway, that's been actually kind of refreshing to me to see them take men and do that, because I think men, not only they deserve their chance, is that it's just refreshing for the female audience to see that once in a while.
Well, it is definitely, though, a male dominated industry, in that I'm not saying that we don't have that in America too. We do.
Yeah.
Okay, but
it's definitely male dominated. I'm not saying it's
not. And there was, so one of the things that's interesting about this film, Om Shanti Om, is a reincarnation. So half of the film, Shahrukh Khan is playing what's called a junior artist, which is basically a glorified extra. Okay.
I like that title, junior artist, better actually.
And Farah Khan, the director, it's basically her homage to Hindi cinema. There's many references to past films so we're set in the past, and then we're set in present day, and he's reincarnated as a Bollywood star. And it's a little bit of a riff on his own persona as Shahrukh Khan, okay? Except, like I said, she makes him do the item number.
He deserves it.
But as I said, it was Deepika Padukone's first film. It's amazing music in it. So highly recommend that. And it's also interesting. So part of the thing is that in the past, there's an actress who has a secret marriage, because it was a thing that once an actress got married, well, that's it. Her career's over. Okay. So that is what has been new about some of these, Deepika Padukone, who is coming up in Patan. She's married to another big star. His name is Ranveer Singh.
Okay.
They've worked together in some amazing films like Ram Leela. Oh my God. That is Romeo and Juliet. Made into modern day Bollywood. So it's called Ram Leela, A Play of Bullets, I think is the full title.
See, now that makes me want to watch it. Play a bullets. I'll be there.
I mean, but it's like the chemistry between them is off the charts, and there was a reason they ended up getting married.
Oh, just like Ramber and Alia.
Yeah.
So really they just had a baby.
They just had a baby. That's right. So anyway, it's an homage to filmmaking and old time filmmaking and riffing on stardom and Bollywood and whatever. So that is highly recommend. And there's a song in the middle of that where they're coming from an awards ceremony, and I mean, there's all sorts of inside jokes about the Shahrukh Khan's character, what films he's up for an award for, are spoofs of real films that he's been up for awards for, and they got, guys in the audience who give in the reaction losers, whatever.
Oh no!
So, but then there's a big party afterwards, and there's this song, and basically almost everyone that Shahrukh Khan has been in a movie with has a little cameo in this enormous number. And to me, rewatching that scene is like a yardstick for me. The first time I saw it, all I recognized was his co-star from DDLJ, Kajol is in it. But I didn't know everybody else. Well, gradually, I know pretty much everybody that's in that.
That's really cool
cameo song. But over time, anyway. You don't need to know all of that background, but I'm just saying it's like Easter eggs for people who do know. There's some fun things in there. So another woman director, Luck by Chance, is an older film, and it happens to be playing on Amazon. And Farhan Akhtar is the star, and he's a young guy trying to make it in Bollywood. And Shahrukh Khan has a cameo at one point when Farhan Khan is about Farhan Akhtar's character is about to make it. He meets Shahrukh at a restaurant, and Shahrukh gives him some advice. But there's all sorts of industry cameos in it. Wow. But it kind of is what do young people have to go through to make it in the movies kind of a film. And again, woman director, so highly recommend that one. Another one in the Telugu industry is called Mahanati, which means greatest actress, and it's about a famous actress named Savitri, who I've been watching her classic films from the 50s and the 60s. She died tragically young, but she was an amazing actress, and they have a scene that supposedly happened in real life. She was in this film, and this director wanted her to cry, and she said, "How many tears do you want?" So Kirti Suresh plays Savitri in the film, and having seen the real Savitri and some of the films that they show being made, she does a really good job playing Savitri. And Dulquer Salman, again, my favorite guy, crossed over to Telugu cinema to play her husband, Gemini Ganesan, who was, you find out in the film, everybody who's watching the film knows, so I'm not giving a spoiler, he was a bigamist. So when he proposes marriage to her, doesn't say, I got a wife and kid at home already.
Oh, yeah. By the way, you're not the first.
Right. But Dulquer plays this guy so charming that you're like, okay, I get it.
Maybe I'll try it.
I get why she fell for him. Okay.
Really funny.
Real life, maybe he wasn't such a nice person, but I mean, that is a tightrope to walk. Like to be, know you're playing a guy who was not the greatest, but yet is so overwhelmingly charming, and helped the actress get some of her big breaks. And so, anyway, so that is a highly recommend. That one is playing on Amazon Prime at the moment. Cool. So, I already mentioned Bangalore Days. That's one of Dulquer Salman's big films, but it also has all of kind of the biggest young actor and actresses from Malayalam cinema that is playing on Hulu. So the biggest in the US, there's Netflix, there's Amazon, there's Hulu are the big ones that have most of the films. I will message you.
Give me that list. I just saw Vermonster pop up on Hulu. I was like, there it is.
Right. That just came out this weekend. That's right. And if you see Alia says Shiva. So like,
Shiva!
there's the Shiva cut. Like I just saw on Twitter today.
So
Like,
funny.
I think they counted like how many times that she says it in the movie.
I really like her, and I thought, why are they underusing her like this? I did not understand it. But I mean,
and then the crazy thing is that they are a couple in real life.
Yeah.
They're married, and I felt like on screen they did not have chemistry. I mean, it was one of those where I have seen Ranbir in other films. I've seen him with Deepika, and where he is just smoldering, whatever. And for some reason, it just wasn't there for me in Brahmastra. Like I admired what they were trying to do, but the romantic storyline totally didn't work for me.
Which is, when you think about, that's perfect if he's trying to do a Marvel-esque type universe, because there is no good romance in any Marvel movie ever.
No,
it's like once you're a superhero, it's just
or if there is, then they die. Like
it doesn't last. It definitely doesn't. But yeah, so
or I'm looking at you.
I do feel lucky we did get to. I know seriously. Yeah. But I did, I feel like we did it right with Brahmastra. We got to see it in 3D. We went to IMAX 3D, and it was just, I don't know why, but it just really cast its spell when you get to see it in 3D and it's sparkling and everything's beautiful.
I didn't see it 3D, but I did, seeing in the big screen.
Beautiful. I just had such a good time at that movie. I mean, it had its problems, but I was just magical. I just loved it. It's just such a nice, beautiful way to spend a day.
Right. And I mean, I will be there for the second one because they're already setting it up that NTR is going to be the main antagonist in the next one. So
I would like that. I was a little bummed Yash said no, but I get why he said no. But I'm still a little bummed he said no, because that would have been a great follow up for him. Just you could just stand there.
So you enjoyed RRR. So Ram Charan, who is in RRR. So
yes, Ram Charan.
Yes,
that mustache. Nobody carries a mustache like that guy. That was beautiful.
Okay, I would recommend his film Rangastalam, which is a village set movie where he plays a guy who's hard of hearing, and I know people in India complain some of these village dramas, it all seems to be kind of the same kind of story, but for us, it's more fresh. Like we have not seen it 1,000 times yet, right?
This is all new for me. So
right. But Rangastalam, highly recommend, and that one is playing on Amazon right now.
I love that you have where they're playing, if they're available. That's so great, because I'm always like, where is it? How do I find it?
Well, it does change around. I mean, the catalogs get sold and moved, and so where it may have premiered for streaming may not be where it is a couple years down the road. Exactly. You have not seen Pushpa, I don't think. So
I did see Pushpa.
Oh, you did? Did you?
And I loved it because I loved that song in Pushpa, that first song in the jungle. It's one of my favorite songs. Like, it's so great. And I love his little twitch, like he's doing to the beat. Gorgeous. I loved it. I hated the love story. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, but Alu Arjun,
didn't need it.
He's one of the best dancers in cinema. And so I would then, if you've already seen Pushpa, I would seek out some of his older films.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Definitely
amazing. He is amazing.
And I saw he just did that video with that other that famous singer.
I haven't seen that.
Was it Maya or something like that? No. Yeah, it was just a music video, and it was him in it, and I'm like, it's the guy from Pushpa.
So if you enjoyed Prabhas in the Bahubali films, highly recommend his earlier film Mirchi, which means like hot, spicy, or anger. Okay. So that is playing on Hulu. Before Bahubali, that I think was his biggest film, and I believe I'm right. The guy who plays Kattappa Satyaraj in the Bahubali films plays his father in the Mirchi films. So. The love interest in Mirchi is it played his love interest in Bahubali too. So
I liked her. That was great. She was great. So good.
So very different kind of character for her, but anyway, it's really fun. Now, so for Malayalam films, I would recommend. It's a very fun village superhero film called Morali, which is playing on Netflix. It came out on Christmas Day.
That. That's where there's a lightning storm, and then there's the two guys that get it, and you see how they handle it differently. That was really charming. I love
really good. Yeah, Tovino Thomas is the actor who played the lead actor, and I just love him.
So and it's funny. I hear people complaining like it took too long to get going. I'm like, But that the origin story is what I love the
Origin
most.
story.
I don't want
Yes.
them to become superheroes, and once they do that, it just becomes that, and it's not
Yeah,
good. Like,
yeah.
I loved his stumbling around trying to figure out
Oh, I
what to do, and I
loved it.
thought that was amazing.
The little kid.
Oh, so
I love
good.
it.
So much good stuff in that. I love that. I thought that was a great take. Yeah, for sure.
So there's a film on Netflix called Angamali Diaries. So Leisure Joe's Pellissieri is the director. That he has, I think you've done maybe a trailer extra of Shirley in one of his more
Yes.
recent films.
Mhm.
But this was one of his first films that
Okay.
just that I saw, and it just blew me away.
All
So
right.
it's kind of a local gang in a small city
I love
story.
that, though.
Oh man! And the final, again, for your filmmaker crew, the final 11 minutes of the film is one super long tracking
I love
shot
that.
during a big festival, street festival, like a big holiday
good.
festival. So just the planning and what they went to, like this 11-minute tracking shot, it's jaw dropping.
Oh my god! Well, I love when they do that. It's just it's so hard to do, and it's just
Oh, the
so
payoff,
impressive when all the pieces
because
are-
the
okay.
tension is just built up as you're going weaving in and out of houses, and
wait.
people are chasing. Oh my god! All right, so going back to Shahrukh Khan,
Okay.
I think one of the classic films that you probably should see, and it has so many big stars in it, is called Kabi Kushi Kabi Gum, which means sometimes happy, sometimes sad. It's currently playing on Amazon. I think it's 3 hours. This is a big Karan Johar, the director, a magnum opus. Okay, like it has Amitabh Bachchan playing Shahrukh Khan's father,
Okay.
and Hrithik plays Shahrukh Khan's brother.
Hrithik, what?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Hrithik,
Hrithik, who is a young child.
Wow, that's so funny.
Nickname is Ladu, which is like those little round pastry candies. So he's like this little fat kid, and then suddenly there's the glow up. Second half of the film, you're like, what?
I think someone has recommended you need to watch Hrithik's Glow Up, and I'm like, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah.
Now I know.
So, well,
Really
Hrithik, I think he may have had some child roles or whatever. But yeah, this
really
movie. And so it has Amitabh Bachchan, who was one of the biggest stars. I mean, he's still a huge star, but I mean, he was a huge star in the 80s. One of the biggest films, Sholay, he was in. And his wife, Jaya, plays his wife in the film. And so they are Shahrukh and Hrithik's parents. And there's... Kajol is in it again, repairing the actress from DDLJ. His Rani Mukherjee is another love interest, and so there's just so many big stars all in one big family melodrama epic with amazing music. So it's just it's just one of those. Yes, some of this stuff maybe you say is cheesy or whatever, but it's just one. It's one that was so huge when it came out, and it's just one of those touchstones. And if you kind of want to familiarize yourself with many stars, there's a lot of them all in one movie all together.
Oh, so cool. Very cool.
All right, and you love Hrithik. So again, another woman-directed film, Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. And this is a film with 3 friends who go on a road trip before one of the friends' wedding. And Katrina Kaif, who's another big actress, she is in the film as well.
Okay.
So they're traveling through Spain. So you've got amazing scenery, whatever. Of course, each friend has a backstory, whatever. And Hrithik plays the hard-edged businessman, and the other friends get so upset with him constantly doing conference calls, they throw his cell phone over the side of a cliff at one point.
That was so funny. And he was very mad.
Oh yeah.
That's totally funny.
So, but it's just literally it's like a 4-star movie. It's so good.
Okay.
And again, woman director. So I think you would
female director.
So I think I didn't. So I mentioned OK Kanmani is a Tamil film. Okay. You watched the Hindi Vikram Vedha. Yeah. The original, I don't know if you're ready to watch it again right now, but the husband and wife director team, the original film came out 5 years ago. It stars Madhavan.
Yeah, I did watch that.
Yeah, and Vijay Sethupathi.
So good.
He is one of my all-time favorite actors.
So
he
good.
is amazing. So there's a really bizarre little film that he's done called Super Deluxe. Okay.
Oh,
So
that's on my list because we did a trailer reaction to that, and people have been every time we ask like what movie should we watch, that is always in the top 5, always.
So,
And I
yeah.
want to get started on that. I think you're.
So that one is playing on Netflix right now. It has people from all different industries. So it's
okay.
there's multiple storylines that are interspersed. You don't know how they all interconnect until the ending.
Okay.
But it has Fahad Fazil, who is one of the biggest actors in Malayalam cinema. It has Samantha Prabhu, who's a big actress in Telugu films, and Vijay Sethupathi plays a trans woman.
I love that.
Amazing. He's amazing. Oh my God, he is amazing.
I mean, that's incredible. I love
it.
It
is amazing. So that's more offbeat film, but I definitely highly.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch that.
Definitely love that one. So I have overloaded you. Like I said, I will email you the list, and you can always come to me and say, I really like that, or I like that director. And then I have more to give you. But
I should watch these films, do my reaction, but then come on your show and you can say, I asked her to watch this. And then we get her reaction.
Anytime.
That would be really fun. Before we go, I know it's been a long one.
It's been fine. I was just going to say I've been rambling on.
I thought that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted a total download from you because it's so much more than I do. But I wanted to do little posters for this movie because you love it so.
Yes.
So, this is an older movie, so it's hard to find the legit full on, and there's video ones and direct to whatever ones. But
this is a poster. This is a poster that I have not seen. This is not the normal poster that you typically see for this film.
This is probably some special release. Maybe a streaming service of their own or something. But it shows you the 2 stars looking very young. A terrible masking job on her on the left. We have this black outline in the sky. Come on, guys.
Okay, I can tell you. I will tell you a secret to that scene. I'm going to spoil it a little bit because it's kind of the director Aditya Chopra was a little bit mean to the actress Kajol in that scene. So they have this number where she's kind of taunted him, and then he starts singing to her and grabs her on stage and whatever, and she does. But the final scene is he puts her into a dip and he drops her.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And the actress was not told that he was going to do that.
So you see her real reaction that she's
you're seeing her real reaction, her anger. Yeah. So I hope I didn't make it horrible for you, but
because now I can look. I'll be watching for it and I'll know that was for real. So there's these little graphics here. One is a hat. Is this a scarf?
Right.
Is this the
right. His hat is very famous. So so it's about so do you, NRI means non-resident Indian. So it's about 2 families. These people are from England. They're from London. Okay, they're college kids, and she is from a very strict family. Amrishpuri, who was the do you remember the Temple of Doom, the villain in that?
Okay, of course,
so he's her father.
Okay.
So you can imagine how intimidating he was. And so they're living in London, and she begs her father, can I go on a trip to Europe with my friends after I graduate? And he relents. And so that's where they meet. They meet on this train, your rail pass kind of thing. And he's with a group of his guy friends. She's with a group of her girlfriends. And he buys that hat in Switzerland or Germany or whatever. They miss the train at a certain point, and they, you can guess what happens. Then her father has arranged a marriage for her with a guy back in India. And Shahrukh Khan came up with the line when they say goodbye to each other at the interval point in the train station in London. She says, will you come to my wedding? And he says, no.
Nope.
And walks away.
Not gonna happen.
And so then interval point, and then we're like, well, is he going to chase after her? Right. So
of course. There'd be no movie.
Right. So half of the movie takes place in Switzerland and all of these locations in Europe and in London. And then the second half is in India, where her family has come for for her to meet her fiance and all of that. And Shahrukh shows up, and how does he ingratiate himself? How does he try to win over her dad and win over the family, and kind of undercover, and so
really funny.
So much great music. And it's also one of those, like, he's such a jerk. Yeah. So he's such a jerk in the first half of the film. And it's like, funny. Can a jerk be redeemed? Can a rake be redeemed?
Sometimes being a jerk is just, insecurity and armor. And then once they, I like that when all of a sudden you realize that's why, and it makes them kind of sad.
So, I mean, this poster shows, so the name of the title means the brave-hearted wins the bride. So he's like carrying her off from her wedding. She's got like her wedding sari on, kind of a thing. And here he is in very Western clothes, right? He's got his jeans, he's got his Harley Davidson jacket.
His hat.
Yeah, he's got his hat, his famous hat. They had this film came out in 1995. They had an anniversary for it, whatever it was, 2 years ago, whatever that would be, 25 or whatever.
Right, I don't even want to think about how long ago
I mean, how many years it was. And he still has the backpack and the jacket, that he has saved from the film that he showed. Funny. And so had been in some films together as a romantic couple and films before this, but this is just like an iconic. Jody means couple or pairing, so this is an iconic Jody. And then they have they've been together in subsequent films like KKKG, as it's called, and so there's been repairings, but this is the one. Like, this film set so many trends, both for, at one point she wears like a green wedding sari for one of the wedding parties. Like, it just set so many trends. And the music.
Can't wait to see this. And this poster is a very 90s looking poster. It has the blue flat background. You have a little bit of halo effect. You have the comedy, like, that kind of face. So that's very, very nice.
Fall in love. Yes.
And then we have this, this looks like it's just some special one-off, but it has that classic, this is full on going on here. There's no comedy here. This is all romance.
The scene where they reunite in India is in a mustard field. So it's all of this yellow.
Yes.
So that is what this poster is showing, the yellow of that famous mustard flower field that they reunite in.
I love that. The one thing they did do is they kept this logo the whole way through. That doesn't always happen in poster design. They usually go, this logo sucks, I'm going to redo it. No, this one's the whole time with that little goofy thing. The goofy things on all of them.
Yeah, when we were texting, I warned you that some of the things are a little cringe or misogynistic or whatever that we would look cited. Same way some of the classic films that I remember growing up with, like if I watch them again, I'm like, a John Hughes movie, like, oh my God.
I know, you mentioned that. It's like, God, I know I loved those. And then all of a sudden you're watching going, I can't believe I like this. There's some terrible racist stuff in this.
Yeah, this is more, I don't know, this more misogyny, and also just, I mean, there's a lot of Indian films that the guy finally wins by stalking her and bugging her so long that he finally wins her over, right?
Stalkers always win, right?
I mean, it's not like we haven't had that in Western
oh no,
as well,
I mean,
right?
Valley Girl was like, I was watching Valley Girl with Nick Cage, and it's like, I remember being adorable and the music's great, and then I'm watching it going, it was creepy. Like, he's camping out in her front yard, like being a creep. It was creepy.
Yeah,
so like,
right.
There's a whole next level of movies now. Well, we have gone on an hour, and it's been awesome. And I want to do another hour, but I'm definitely going to have you back. But I would love to watch some of these movies and then talk about them, because that would be really fun. I'm so glad we did this. It was so fun.
I really enjoyed it. I had such a fun time talking with you. I'd love to have you on my channel in the future. Sure. So we will make it happen.
We will make it happen. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm going to play our little, goodbye graphics. But you stay on for a second, and then we'll talk. Okay. I always had trouble finding my little going out thing. Just have this ready. Okay. See you soon. Wait, no, that's not it. Here it is. Okay. Bye.